Good evening once again, everybody. This is Nothin, and I am bored. No, I'm coming to you tonight with some very important information. I'm being facetious at being facetious. There's this little thing called plans within plans. Anybody who's read the book Dune might know what I'm talking about, if you read it very, very carefully. Now, in my previous video, I plugged the upcoming Yugoslavia documentary, and I plugged what was going to be two videos. I think I'm going to make them one video. This video. And it's basically because I don't have that much written down. And I realized if one considers the plans within plans, these things were really very suspiciously closely related here. One is a type of college degree. The other is kind of a crazy right wing movie based on seeming mostly misinterpretations of scripture. One is Russian studies, the college major. The other is the Left Behind series. Now, I've always felt compelled to avoid false prophecy, any prophecy, especially close to true prophecy, my entire life. I've kind of wound up with a couple of weird fiction books in my life that have been irresistible to read, but I've been given books by my family about Revelation interpretations and how to properly interpret the book of Revelations. I've never read them. I always knew God had a plan for me. And I thought that if I was going to be able to see things differently, I needed to let Him open my eyes, not keep absorbing a repeated message, getting enough repeated messages in school. So, an example of plans within plans in a modern day time is something that we're going to be talking about in this upcoming documentary discussion on Yugoslavia. And it's something that you can pretty much see happening in Ukraine as we speak. But just as a general framework for analyzing case studies, a large nation with many, many resources and an inherent cultural predisposition towards cultural superiority and the inferiority and also necessary conquest, necessary lordship over surrounding cultures. If you are this powerful country with these cultural aspects, there are some plans that are deemably endemic to your to everything about you, to your very existence. You kind of must do these things just to maintain not only your state of being, but to live up to your own cultural standards, to live up to the words in the books that you hold dear, and the way that you still teach them in Arrow. Malfunction. Need input. Bing. What? Who? So, the ultimate objective, according to the books that said great nation reads, basically, the world is yours. These people are in your way. Okay? That's just the way they think. If you thought that way, what would you do? Well, first, stop thinking of those other people as people. They're not people. They're cattle. They're commodities. What do you do with commodities? Well, you hunt and gather them. But eventually, once you've hunted and gathered them enough, you have sufficient supply to grow your own crop. Well, these aren't fucking vegetables we're talking about. They're people. What do you do with people? Once you've kidnapped and enslaved several nations and your borders have expanded several times and you have a healthy stock of slave towns that you have completely indoctrinated in whatever manner you choose to, completely isolated, thousands of miles away from any other civilization. Well, say for instance, if in the late 1400s you had conquered most of what you thought you had to conquer, and the remaining few countries were pretty much infiltrated with your spies, with your hunter gatherers, with your collectors, with your agents. But a lot of them found this new land and had been settling there. And you thought, that's fine. I've got my hands in this pot and my hands in this pot, and they're pouring out all over that land. And one day, 13 of those colonies got together and decided we're going to do things our way. And those 13 colonies began to have a compulsion to build a great new nation that could stand up to the old ways of imperialism. 500 years ago, this first started. Only a couple of hundred years ago did we actually declare ourselves as a nation. Only a little over 100 years ago did we become a nation as a whole. And for that 100 years, Russia has been at war with us. Do you understand? Stop living in la la land. do everything you can to make everyone you know stop living in La La Land. What the fuck is wrong with you people? Sorry, but you're in danger. Back to the notes. So, Russian studies. Let me light a cigarette. Because, see, with the curse of intelligence that I have as a human, I'm able to keep a whole lot of data in my head at once. Like, for instance, Russian deployment patterns. And if you knew the current state of Russian deployment patterns, you'd have a problem holding your usual scope of bladder fluid. You'd pee on yourself. Yes, you'd pee. It's. I mean, I can't even like just list it off without making a whole nother video. Just do a search for it. First, watch how many fucking troll news sites show up in your way while you're trying to get the fucking information that's relevant to your survival. Anyway, sorry. Cut myself off again. Back to the notes. So, what I got written down here in my chicken scrizatch is some words. These words are the owners of about 3 out of 5 independent news websites, also known as the digital empire of media. I mean, no, wait, no, they're digital media empires. No, it's the digital empire of media. Okay, media. Media is a country. It's not a fucking service. You are its slaves. 3 out of 5 independent news websites. That is supposedly not part of the mainstream media, the lamestream media. The owners of these sites are either from countries with considerable Russian influence or have parents who were, these are two things, two different categories, okay, fall into these 3 out of 5. They're either from the countries with considerable Russian influence or their parents are, one of their parents are, and or have one or more parents are, and they happen to have a spouse whose college major was Russian studies. That's a weird pattern. So wait, let me just say this again. 3 out of 5, just that I've traced, okay, owners of these digital media empire news websites that you don't think are part of the mainstream media. They're independent news websites. They're the ones you go that you trust for the real information. The Coffee Party constantly posts Egbert Willies. Okay, it's one example. They're either from a country with a considerable amount of Russian influence, communist countries, most of them. Not the ideal utopian kind of communist bullshit that you fucking think you know about. No, I'm talking about stick fucking I has it socialism. Like, you disagree with the people in charge, you die. Okay? Wake the fuck up. Reality check. That What's wrong with you people? Okay. Back to the two categories. Sorry, just my concern for how lost people are is overwhelming. It really is. It's just staggering to me how clueless people are. It's staggering. They're either from a country that, I mean, they live there now. Okay, like they're not even citizens of America, and you're taking their word for what's going on in America. Or if they live in America, if they're from America, or have migrated to America. So all these people fit in this one category. Okay. So it's a pretty broad set of criteria. But it's only got two subgroups. Okay. You happen to have, if they're actually American residents, citizens, whether born here or immigrated here, their parents are from a communist country and their spouses happen to be Russian studies majors. What the fuck is that? Well, I'll explain exactly what the fuck that is. You see, if you were this big power in the North, and these countries that were beginning to become irritating because of this one country that found a way to resist you, had the audacity to help these other countries, to help educate these other countries. Well, those very educational systems would be a threat to you. You would need at least one reliable mechanism by which to further other infiltrations within as many of those institutions as you could. And then another need would occur to you. Well, the best way to keep them from resisting is to keep their population from knowing as little as possible about us and about our history. Us being a big country of the North. Well, those two needs conveniently work hand in hand in the Department of Russian Studies. So, you can, through outstanding credentials, which I mean, who's more qualified than somebody from fucking, who's more qualified to teach Russian studies than a spy, really? You know? And then via this very, very simple yet secure system of infiltration, you also manage to cement sway over perception. Because when a news story wants to learn or wants to provide some further analysis about something to do with Russia, for instance, here's the Russian studies professor at blah 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 university. Live on the Median Empire. It's Saturday night. Well, oh fuck. You know, I had a feeling as soon as I said I was going to do both topics in this video. But since it's 20 minutes, I'm going to make the other part of this Plan Within Plans video in the next video. And please like this one. Please subscribe if you haven't already. If you love America or if you live in another country and you love freedom and you miss the America that America used to be, that used to help protect everybody, the country that this country was meant to be, the country that you probably have family in, like and subscribe to my channel, please. I have a lot left to say, and I will not make that stuttering that too much. Head injuries. Uh, Thanks. Have a great night. Or see you in a few minutes if you watch the next video. What are you supposed to say when no longer talking into a small box with your head in it? Like and subscribe. That's the only one I know that everybody says. Bye.